As you can see, there's a lot of ways to structure financing and structure these deals in an advantageous way for both you and the seller. And I think that's the key too, is that most of these sellers want to keep the legacy alive. They want the employees that have worked for this company for years, they want them to stay on board. And this is just some avenues to maybe, when you're having these conversations with sellers, to construct a win-win deal. How's it going, One Rental family? I wanted to talk today about buying boring businesses and how we can structure creative financing, things that you can look for. So as you're going through the businesses that you're looking to acquire, you're narrowing down the food group or the assets that you'd like to purchase, whether it's a business with real estate or just a business acquisition. That's great. Now we got to dive into looking at the deal, figuring out how to finance the deal, because like most of us that come from a real estate background, we know leverage is king. Having our private money lenders, getting high leverage financing to acquire and reposition these assets in the real estate world transitions over into business acquisition, I would believe, as well. So how can we structure these deals to come out of pocket with as little as possible? That's the topic I wanted to talk about today. SBA financing can cover up to 90% of total project costs. So that can include the purchase price, working capital. If you're buying a property, business property, that could be improvements to the property. If you're buying a business and you need more equipment and inventory, we can package that all up. That becomes your total project costs. And SBA financing can cover 90% of total project costs, which also builds in working capital. So what are the ways that we can structure the financing to be advantageous for us if we're limited on available capital, or we just simply want to use our capital elsewhere and have some reserves in the bank and not put it into this particular business acquisition? So you can obviously get up to 90% financing from a bank, credit union, or non-bank SBA lender. We can have up to 7.5% on full standby. That's a seller carryback on full standby, meaning they're not going to get payments for the first 2 years, and it can accrue interest. So then you only really have to come in with 2.5%. Not all banks, credit unions will do this, but it is per SBA guidelines. That's fine. So if it was $1 million deal, we need 25 grand to close. Other ways to structure this acquisition could be you bring in an investor partner that owns less than 20% interest. They don't need to guarantee the loan. If you needed 100 grand to close as your 10% equity injection, it could come from an investor partner. Another creative way of getting into these businesses is, a lot of times right now you're getting the baby boomers who want to retire, but maybe they want to help run the business still and be a part of it. Well, you can do partial buyouts now, so you don't have to buy out the seller 100%. In the past, you had to buy the seller out 100%. So now, let's just say you're purchasing a business that requires like a contractor's license or an electrical contractor's license. You're buying an electrical company. You could keep them on, and they could own a smaller percentage. They won't have to guarantee the loan, and you could keep them on to be the licensed contractor. Right? So there's creative ways, if you're buying a business that needs licensing, a specialty licensing, to keep them on, and they get what they want. They get bought out. They're semi-retired. They want to still work a few hours a week in the business. You can keep them on that way as well. So as you can see, there's a lot of ways to structure financing and structure these deals in an advantageous way for both you and the seller. And I think that's the key too, is that most of these sellers want to keep the legacy alive. They want the employees that have worked for this company for years, they want them to stay on board. And this is just some avenues to maybe, when you're having these conversations with sellers, to construct a win-win deal. And I think that's kind of the attitude to go at, because really it's solutions based. It's not necessarily price. Sometimes when you're negotiating price, right, they want their price, but you want your terms. So other ways of looking at this are, okay, well, you want $1 million, that's fine, but I need you to carry back $300,000 at below market interest rate, maybe 5%. So there's ways of structuring these deals so it's advantageous. You can appease them, but also make it a win-win deal. Just like we're looking at real estate seller finance deals and buying on terms, right? I'll pay your price if you accept my terms. Same principle here on the business acquisition. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to structure deals in a very advantageous way. Also, when we've talked a lot about franchise startup business. Same thing, on a franchise startup, we can get up to 90% of total project cost. So putting my investor cap on, maybe you partner with an operator. I'm seeing that more and more, where I had a conversation last week with a gentleman, and he's going to put the money up, and then he's got a corporate guy that's actually not working anymore. They've known each other for a long time. And that corporate guy is going to be the manager. He's going to run the day-to-day of the business. He's going to grow and scale that business. And then the investor partner. So lots of ways to partner and to put these deals together. And that's really what I wanted to talk to you about on this episode here. If you'd like to figure out how to buy a boring business, how to buy a franchise, or have questions on SBA financing, simply go to onerentalmeeting.com, and it takes you right to my calendar. I'm happy to meet with you, even if you're just starting out and you want a little bit of guidance to figure out what options are available to you. Maybe a push in the right direction would be useful for you. Simply just go to onerentalmeeting.com. And thanks for watching another episode. See you soon.